Milt Human Relations card number 3 is titled as 9 Ways to Bring Around People Without Giving Offense. Well, what is the first card, first principle? It says don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Now, you might be probably complaining, saying, how is it possible? You told us not to criticize, condemn, or complaining. But everybody outside seemed to be doing that. Now, that's not fair. Even for this in Milt, we have got an answer. It says 9 ways to bring around people without giving offense, meaning without having to criticize, condemn, or complain. Now, how do you do that? It says begin with praise and honest appreciation. Well, let's say there's a dispute between you and your colleague on certain transactions. For instance, you have paid up a 10,000 rupee. Just take it for example. You have paid a 10,000 rupee for a purpose. And now your colleague tells you, no, you're not paid because it is not recorded. Now, probably you're very certain you paid, and your colleague is also certain that the payment has not been done. Now, there's a dispute, unresolved. Now, during this dispute, if you find your colleague is doing work exceptionally well and is doing some appreciable work, you will begin with praise and honest appreciation. You will never keep that dispute or the conflict in your mind while dealing with that person. Right now, you deal issue to issue, situation to situation. So you begin with praise and honest appreciation. Call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Well, that person, colleague of yours, might be reporting to you, and you might be tempted to use your authority and your command. But here it says, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Now, one thing I know for sure, it's not that you deliberately want to say, I've not given it. But one thing I know, the moment you get to know in the transaction that I have paid the money, you will be the first person to recognize it and acknowledge it. So, what did you do? You called attention to people's mistakes indirectly rather than accusing them of fraud, cheat, and incompetent. Then the next principle says, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Well, all said and done, I'm very sorry for the way I behaved, very sorry for the way I spoke. I'm very, very sorry about it. Now, what did you do? You talked about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. You owned up your side of the contribution to the conflict. It's a good beginning because you have said everything in a very orderly manner. And then it says, ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Now, that person might be having to take some work from you. Now, you might be tempted to use your authority, but instead ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Can you check your record? Can you check all the entries and then give me your feedback, please? Now, here it is less painful because you ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Now, in this course of the situation that is unresolved, you find your colleague is doing certain things exceptionally well, the time management is perfect, adhering to certain rules and doing exemplary work. You praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. That means you're not mingling that unresolved conflict into it, but you're taking every situation without the cloud of that unresolved conflict, and there you're able to appreciate the colleague of yours at that point in time for all the good work that the person is doing. So praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Let the other person save his face. Let's say your colleague has gone through the records and has found, yes, I'm very, very sorry. There is an entry which I didn't see. You certainly have paid in that 10,000 rupees. Now, well, generally, what is the tendency of people? They would immediately go to the other colleague in the other cabin, in the other table, and say, you know something, all along this person was saying that I didn't owe the money, and now he's coming and saying it's all there, it's settled. Now you're going about every department talking bad about that person. Now that is not a right way to do, but instead let the other person save his face. Rather than painting the person black and blue outside, rather than portraying a bleak picture about that person, let the other person save his face. Tell them, I know the moment you get to know that I paid the money, you will be the first person to acknowledge it. So don't worry, we all make mistakes. but let's learn from our mistakes and proceed in life. Now, that's a great words to share because you didn't magnify the problem, but instead you appeal to the person and you recognize that human element in that person. So you let the other person save his face, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. I've been seeing you work and you're very, very dedicated and you are competent, but it's just a foresight that you missed it. So, what did I do? I gave the other person a fine reputation to live up to rather than magnifying the mistake that person has committed. The next principle says use encouragement, make the fault seem easy to correct. Well, don't worry about it. We're all human beings. We all do mistakes at times. But let's learn from our mistakes and proceed it. Don't give it a big thought. Let's go ahead in life. Now, what did you do? You used encouragement and make the fault seem easy to correct. And now that person feel absolutely motivated to go ahead and do things and not carry the guilt of the mistake that has been committed. And then it says, make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. Well, that person might be under your control. Now, you might be tempted to use your authority at this point in time, but no, you will make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. Like the way we discussed in the previous principle, arouse in the other person eager want. Let the person want to do what you want them to do. And then the moment you do that, you are able to bring around people without having to give offense. Well, we have these 9 principles, very, very powerful principles where you don't have to offend or hurt people and break a relationship for a trivial matter, but instead you can bury that indifferences and build a great relationship because that small incident should not come in the way of a long-term relationship, or a long-term relationship that you had over a period of time should not be blown out or stuck because of the small skirmish that has happened. So therefore, let us develop this emotional competence of bringing around people without having to give offense. And the moment we do that, we certainly are powerful. We're able to relate with people well in a very, very dignified manner. And this is certainly a great way to live our human life. Thank you.